Let's talk about times when we probably shouldn't be spending money. Life is full of sudden changes, slow changes, ups and downs, some of them good, some of them bad. And anytime we get off balance, sometimes that's when our spending gets out of control, or maybe our thought process isn't the most rational. So today I wanted to share a few times when you might want to avoid making big purchases. So, number one is when you graduate from college. And I don't know about you, but when I graduated from college, and got my first adult job, I felt like the richest woman in America. Was I making any money? No. I was making less than $30,000 a year, but I felt like that was so much money. When you graduate from college and you get a corporate job or a teaching job or a nursing job, like whatever job it is you're getting, you're going to be making a whole lot more money than you did as a student. And I know a lot of you can attest to that. But in my situation, I had gone from being super broke with $1.27 in my checking account to making like $28,000 a year, which is not a lot of money. But for me, it felt like the moon, like the moon. So I hear that from a lot of people when they graduated from college, they felt so rich when they got their first paycheck. And now is not the time to buy a new car. Now is not the time to buy a house. Now is not the time to buy all new furniture for your apartment. It's the time to learn how to manage that new income, if you haven't already, to live simply, to start paying off student loans. You have the rest of your life to buy a West Elm sofa. Okay, you don't need one right now. Just continue to use your parents' old crappy one from college, you'll be fine. Next, when moving to a new city, there is something so exciting and so magical about when a rain has fallen on the sidewalk of a new city and it is sparkling with possibility. Okay, I get it. You want to go to a new place and experience all the sights and sounds and restaurants and nightlife and shopping and all the different things that that city has to offer. And that is great. But this is not a vacation, this is your life. Pace yourself. Don't suffer from FOMO when you move to a new city. Those things are still going to be there. So ease into it. Take your time. Maybe pick one or two things a month you're going to do. Don't go crazy. Number three, and this one's sad, but when you're going through a breakup or a divorce, I've never been through a divorce, but I have been through a breakup, and the temptation is high to self soothe. Now, granted, you're hearing this from a lady who met her husband as a teenager, like married him as a teenager, basically. But I still understand the emotions of a breakup. And that is a time where you need to focus on self care and healing. And you can do those things on a budget. So keep that in mind. Are you spending to make yourself feel better or to prove a point? Are you buying something that you really need? Number four, when grieving. And I have shared this story before, but I have had recurrent miscarriages. I'm good now. I'm okay now. I had my last baby. We chose her to be our last baby. We had actually lost two babies before her and then her twin sister. And that was a very complicated loss. And I found myself picking up my phone and just mindlessly searching Amazon for something to fill that hurt, to fill that void. And that can be a really it can be such an emotional, horrible experience that you're going through. It feels like you're so alone. When I was going through mine, my husband was traveling and I was taking care of small children, and I sought comfort at Target a lot. And while we didn't go back into debt, we did not rack up a bunch of credit cards, but we did spend outside of our budget and we had to get back on track. And I really had to work hard to unflip that switch that I had flipped. So we had gone through so much grief together, my husband and I. We had lost friends, we had lost a parent, we lost babies. And I can tell you that if you're not careful, if you don't stay on top of your feelings, that grief can become a spending trigger. So when you're going through an emotional time, when you're processing a loss, when you're saying goodbye to a person that was there and now suddenly isn't, it's not the time to be making big financial choices. And more recently, my dad had a stroke and I realized those emotions were creeping back in, and now was not the time to be making big money decisions. Number five, when you lose your job. Okay, take a deep breath. You lost your job. You probably don't have an income stream to replace it. And hopefully you have an emergency fund in place. But if you don't, now is the time you really have to get scorched earth, as our friend Budget Girl says. You can't continue spending the way you did before you lost your job. Obviously, a job loss is not a time to go car shopping or even shoe shopping. So don't self soothe by spending money. Number six, and this is one I'm well versed in, but after you have a baby, this may seem silly, but I'm telling you, you are up late nursing that baby, pumping, giving them a bottle, and you got Amazon to keep you company. I don't know about you, but after I have a baby, my brain turns into a foggy jello mush and I can't form coherent thoughts and sentences for days. And my logical skills are not at their sharpest. So I'm a smart, educated woman, but something happens in my brain for like 2 months after I've had a baby. And unfortunately, that is also paired with, sitting at home in the middle of the night. There came a point when I had to turn the Wi Fi off my phone just so I wouldn't be online shopping. The temptation to spend after you have a baby is really high because everything is so cute and tiny and you need multiples in multiple colors. You saw a really great blanket in an Instagram ad that was targeting you. Of course, you have to get it. So, here are some tips to help you if you have spending triggers. Okay, triggers come with feelings, either feelings of excitement or grief or loss or any of those things. Let's talk about how to identify them and curb that emotional spending. So, number one, identify what those triggers are. If you find yourself heading to Target or Amazon after a long day of work, a fight, a disappointing outcome, something that you were counting on, that could be a sign of an emotional trigger for you. And while finding a great blouse or an awesome shade of lipstick might make you feel good in the moment, it's not gonna fix your problems in the long run. But take note of what triggers that need to shop. Number two, remind yourself how you feel. Sometimes when we spend money, like we get that dopamine hit and then it's a crash and we feel bad about ourselves. So remind yourself of that before you swipe your credit card. Tell yourself that whatever it is you're pursuing isn't going to solve your problems or fix the stress that you're under. So maybe even stick a note in your wallet next to your card to remind you. Maybe like a little sad face, just something to slow you down. Number three, find a new outlet. Journaling, going for a walk, texting dirty memes to your husband. Find a better way to deal with the stress that isn't going to cost you money. Think of your goals. That $37 you're about to spend at TJ Maxx could go towards something better. And while that doesn't seem like a ton of money, if you spend just $27 every time you go out every day, that can go to a debt, a vacation fund, something that you're much more excited about. And then, of course, avoid the temptation. Delete the emails. Find a new way home. Find a new way to fill that time and fill that void. Okay, I hope these tips were helpful to you. Leave me a comment and tell me what are some of your spending triggers. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you soon.